What's up, guys? It's Julian here. Today I'm doing a producer Q&A. I posted on my community tab on YouTube saying basically ask me any production question you could ever have, and today I'm going to be answering all of them. So before this video starts, I want to remind you guys to check out my website at the top of the description. The best samples on the market for electronic music. I put so much time, years and years, into studying these sounds and putting them together for you guys so that you can make your best music right now. This is something you can do today to make the best track of your career. Links at the top of the description. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. First question here is from Bart. Said, what would be your #1 tip for keeping a techno track interesting? My tracks always get somewhat boring. Okay, so there's a few different things you can do. The first thing you can really do, I just talked about this in the video the other day, is having things that only happen in the intro, only happen in the break, and then only happen in the outro. If you have things that you only hear in each of those parts and it kind of transitions smoothly, that will really help your track stay interesting. A lot of times when things are getting boring, it's tough because basically people just have the same things happening throughout their track. So try that. Alright, next question here. What's your go-to method for creating kicks from scratch? As in the initial sample. Are you layering kicks from different sample packs? Are you using a synthesizer such as Kick 2 or Punchbox? Thanks. Okay, so I do this a lot of different ways. I've made kicks, I've used drum machine sounds and kind of beefed them up before. I've layered together different samples from various different sources, whether it be from packs or from sampling or different things. I've layered together samples with synthesized stuff as well. There's really not one way. But one thing is wherever it comes from, I typically do a bit of multi-band distortion. I'll give you that tip. So, a lot of times, if I do layer, maybe some sample pack kicks, or layering together some of my sample pack kicks to make something new, I'll still go on top of that with, some multi-band distortion or something to kind of just, make it a little bit fresh, right? Alright, next one here is from Avram. Thank you so much, Julian. You helped me so much with the videos. Please never stop making music. Don't plan on it. Thank you. Next one here is from Kafka. What do you use to modulate your tracks to keep them interesting? Do you have racks with LFOs, etc. to keep the sound moving? Okay, that's a good question. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. I would say the best way is just have the sound, have some kind of automation on your sound that is never in exactly the same place twice throughout the track. Just always have it be in a different place. Even if it's just a filter, just going that and then back down, that will keep it exciting. LFOs can really help too, though. Just putting LFOs on filters, inside of your synth. Maybe you're making a pluck and you have an envelope on the filter. Well, try putting an LFO that's really slow as well, and you'll hear it open and close. So yeah, you pretty much answered your own on that one, but yeah. Okay, this next one's from Tony Kurtz. What's the best piece of advice you ever got in your early production years that significantly improved your tracks to this day? That's a good question. Don't overcrowd the track. Just keep it simple, and the mix will come together just out of that. I think a video treating your room / soundproofing would be good. Maybe. I personally don't really mess with a lot of that kind of stuff. I feel I hate to say this, but I feel you don't really need it, to be honest. There's been a lot of amazing tracks made without that kind of stuff. Next one is from Plenitude Productions. I want to try out using my guitar and effects pedals with Ableton. Any advice, please, for your recording? Do I just plug into my audio interface? Thanks so much. Okay, this is a good question. I do this very frequently. You're asking the right guy. So, the way I use the guitar pedals with Ableton is, you just plug it into your interface and just try to keep an eye. Make sure it's not clipping. That's the main thing. Just make sure it's not clipping. Nothing sounds worse than reverb pedals clipping into an interface. No one needs to hear that. So just make sure it's not clipping and you're pretty much good. It helps to have an amp simulator. I like to use, I use the Strymon Iridium. You guys may have heard of it. You've probably heard of it if you asked this question. I use that going in so that I can have the guitar, I can put it into some distortion pedals or whatever, put it into that, and then have the reverb after that. I think that really helps too. Don't try to do your reverb into the amp. What are your favorite VST instruments and effects ever? Okay, that's a good question. Favorite VSTs? I'd have to probably say Serum. This is going to be a hot one. Nexus 2. I love Nexus 2. The sounds in there are crazy. And in terms of effects, Guitar Rig 5 all day. Guitar Rig 5 is the best guitar rig ever. You can't tell me anything different. I use Shaper Box a lot. FabFilter Saturn, FabFilter Pro L for sure for mastering. I actually use a lot of VSTs. I just don't really talk about them in the videos because I'm trying to make the videos for the purpose of showing you can do it all with the Ableton stuff. You don't need any of this stuff. It's just I like using them, right? I also really like Waves plugins. What electronic music do you yourself enjoy listening to most? Hey, that's a good question. I'd have to say probably techno and like Burial, that kind of stuff. James Blake, I've always loved. Like, honestly, that kind of stuff. Like a lot of more like, I guess like Future Garage, yeah. But also techno, and I'll still listen to house from time to time and different things. But really, like, I mean, I love listening to techno at home too. I probably hear techno at home more than I do at the club. How do you get the shoegaze sound with Ableton plugins? Well, you do it the same way you do it with pedals. You get your reverb, get your fuzz on the Ableton pedal, get your Ableton amp, right? Maybe do a few different cabinets on that. There you go. It's just reverb into distortion. Now, you may have a tough time with getting the reverse reverb, but what you could also do to get the reverse shoegaze reverb is try like an impulse response. Like maybe make an impulse, like use like the convolution reverb or whatever, which is like a Max for Live thing. Like anybody can get that, and try like reversing a sound and loading that as an impulse. I think you would get a reverse reverb if you did that. Should effort be made to keep the drum sounds in key with the song? Only the tonal ones. Like you don't need to tune your hi-hat, right? Unless it's got like a boop to it, like a pitch that you can hear. Like the kick, yeah, I try to tune the kick in every track if I can. The snare, again, if the snare is like a 808 snare that has a tone to it, yeah, you'd probably want to tune that, or a 909 snare, but again, like your background hi-hat, rim shot, if it doesn't have a pitch to it, if it's just or like a percussion sound, don't worry about it. The Zillions, how did I produce for Kenny Mason? How'd it happen? Okay, I'll tell you all about that. So basically, I was sending music to him and also a few different people in his camp for like a very, very long time. Like, we were just working on a bunch of stuff. I had gotten plugged in. I forget. I think I emailed Noah's Ark, and he put me on with all of them. And then I just kept sending them a ton of stuff. I mean, with that kind of thing, dude, you just send a ton of beats. And then eventually, you just one day, they like text me and they're like, hey, yo, we got one. And yeah, that's how that happened. Pretty cool. I do like producing in that sense a lot. I'm not a huge fan of sending out beats and all that kind of stuff. I like getting in the studio with people though. I'm definitely trying to do more of that. How to start and maintain own label and self-releases. Is it worth doing? How to make it successful? Those are all questions that I would answer yes to. Besides how to start and maintain your own label. So, how to start and maintain your own label? Pretty much just start it. I mean, in these days, there's not really much that you need to do. You kind of just come up with a name, maybe design a logo, make some social media. You really don't even have to make social media if you don't want to, if you just want to be a savage with it and just be like physical or something. But yeah, do that, get some good music ready to go and put it out. In terms of, is it worth doing? Yes, I think it's very worth doing. And to be honest with you, in the long term, I think it might be more worth doing than getting on the really big labels too, guys. Like, I've talked about this a little bit in the Discord. Link is in the description. Definitely go join the Discord. But I've talked about this in the description. It's like, if you get on, let's say you get on Drum Code right now, right? Like, Drum Code emails you. They say, hey, we're going to release your track. That might not get you as much as you think. Like, you think, oh, if I release my own music, how is it ever going to be as big as, like, a big label? Well, to tell you the truth, like, you can do a lot on your own. And you really don't need much. You really just need like smart promotion and doing things the right way rather than like a lot of money to promote it with or a lot of connections. You really don't need much. You just need to get started and have some really good music. But I think it is much more worth doing, honestly, than building something with these bigger labels. Because the other thing too is like they could die, they could go down. Their wave might die. Like, if you build your own thing, you're always in control. And how to make it successful? You gotta just work really hard, send it to people, use ads, use like PR services, which are readily available because it's 2022 and you can just Google PR service for music, you don't have to know anybody. It's all right out there on the internet. And the last question here, can't find a consistent way to normalize the volume of my mixes before export to upload to YouTube or SoundCloud. Every one of my songs has a different volume. Well, my buddy, it's time for you to discover mastering. That is going to be it for the Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was really cool answering all these questions for you guys. As always, make sure to check out my website at the top of the description. You can grab the best samples to make your best possible music ever. Literally, don't miss out on this, guys. It's a really, really, really great deal. Don't sleep. There's some amazing stuff on there that you won't want to miss out on that can take your tracks to the next level. Today, you can also get my custom lessons and private ghost productions and track finishing. The link for that is in the description as well. Thank you so much for the support, everybody, and I'll see you soon with another video.